Okay, another edition of things I would be telling my sellers, my home sellers, if I had been called in to do the owner-occupied staging consultation. So number one, I would absolutely be explaining to them that these curtains need to be opened, especially down here in Florida. We need to see what we're selling, and I can almost guarantee you in this case, well, I know for sure that there is a pool back there and we want to open that. That's really important. Second thing is that couch looks a little bit too close to that door, so it might not be able to be opened. So we would be talking about, is there a piece in the couch that could just be removed so that we can make it just a little bit smaller? Don't leave your dog when the photos are taken. Also, be sure you ask questions like, well, if I was hired to do the consultation, the realtors that I work with always hire a professional photographer, so that's not a question, but the pets should not be in the photos. We would talk about ways, if this was the couch that needed to stay, what are the things we can do to brighten it up a little bit. This feels very bland and just kind of, it's not exciting to buyers when they're flipping through. By the way, this is another price that is over $1 million. They just reduced the price by $50K. It's been on the market almost 60 days at the time of making this video. Let's look at a few more of the photos from this property. This is the primary bedroom, and again, we have these dark curtains closing off the view that we are trying to sell. More than likely, that chair is probably too much for that space. I would have had them remove that. I would have talked to the sellers about ways to make up this bed to make it feel more elevated. It doesn't cost a lot of money, by the way. But the number one thing that sticks out to me as I am scrolling through listings online and I see this photo is I say, meh, dark, dated. I don't see the house. This actually has these ceilings. What are they? I can't even think of it right now, but these like tray ceilings, you know, with the light, like that's cool, but I'm not even seeing it because I'm so focused on the decor and the things. Doesn't mean remove everything from the house, but there are ways that we could have adjusted things prior to this going on the market. Let's look at another picture. Okay guys, same house. Again, open your curtains, please. Also, I would have talked to them about inexpensive ways to make up the bed. They probably already had everything they needed right there. What things needed to be removed, the little piece of furniture that's sitting there in front of the bed. We want to take any non-essential out and open up the space. With kids, we don't need to take the kids out, but kids always have a lot of patterns and colors and toys and things like that. That's fine. For photo day and for showings, I would have asked them to add some white to the bed, maybe a white pillowcase, a white layer at the end, or flip the quilt so that it was brighter. We would have reduced the amount of posters on the wall, maybe just having one over each of the head of the bed, not having as many. And then we would want to reduce the items out on the desks and dressers. Ideally, typically in a kid's room, reduce it down to 3. These are just things that really come into play as a buyer is looking at properties online. Are they slowing down, excited to call the agent? Or are they kind of like, and you guys know, like you are shopping for everything on your phone as well. Everybody's shopping for houses on their phone. It's no different. And $1 million price point, you've got to do better. So if I had been called in to do a staging consultation, I would have convinced these people to make some of these changes that don't cost a lot of money. It doesn't require them bringing in new furniture. There are little tweaks and changes that they can do to present the home in a much better light. So give me a call if you would like to discuss my different services for occupied listings.